All right, Dylan, thank you. 3 professional mountain climbers, including one.
All right, everybody, meteorologist Chris Justice here with you. Watching the cells moving into our area, the most dangerous weather that we've seen so far, now moving into parts of Stevens, Franklin, and Hart County. In fact, there's a tornado warning just south and west of our area. That tornado threat is increasing in this area. In fact, I'm seeing that circulation tighten up a bit. It's about to move into Franklin County, which is why we want to go ahead and go on here and let you know what's going on. That threat now moving along the I-85 corridor. So travel that way is not encouraged. You really want to avoid that at all costs because this is a strong line moving through the area right here. Live Super Doppler 4 HD in the alert mode. Anytime you see the red icon at the top of the screen, it means that dangerous weather is imminent. It's happening right now. What we have going on right now is a line of storms that's now moving into the area. What's happening here is now we've got the sunlight up. We're warming things up. Even though it's behind the clouds, it's making us more unstable. And this line is encountering more unstable conditions here at the surface, and we're also getting some stronger energy higher up in the atmosphere. So the biggest threat right now, right along I-85, moving into Franklin County. So Carnesville, parts of Livonia, Lake Hartwell, if it should continue. Right now we're seeing that circulation tighten up and getting some reports here on my phone. In fact, still watching it very closely there. In fact, look at this rotation. Some strong winds in this cell. What's happening here is we've got that rotation starting to tighten up here across parts of Commerce. This is just south of I-85, 326 right there, pushing into Franklin County. Carnesville, watching that closely. We want to let you know that this line is pushing towards you. Watching in Greenville or Lawrence or Greenwood, Abbeville, Lounsville, Spartanburg, all in the path of this. And this severe thunderstorm warning has indicated that we could have 60-mile-an-hour winds right here for Hartwell and Carnesville. Again, driving down I-85, not encouraged. If you have family or friends that could be traveling that way, please get on the phone, call them. Just tell them to wait this storm out because this is pushing toward the east at about 45 to 50 miles per hour. Now, as that line continues to push eastbound, our environment only getting more unstable. Therefore, the eastern half of the upstate having a greater risk for severe weather. In fact, we're in the 4th category of risks out of 6 here across the upstate. The 5th category, the second highest, from Charlotte to Columbia, north and eastbound. This area likely to see a tornado outbreak later today as that line really intensifies. In fact, there's a possibility of long-track tornadoes that we're seeing out of some of the latest computer guidance that just came out at the top of the hour at 8 o'clock. The wind damage threat is the greatest across the entire area today. A 3 out of 10 chance that we're going to get damaging wind from Greenville eastbound. A 45% chance from Charlotte to Columbia. And that hatched area means winds up over 70 miles per hour are possible in that area. So we are in the alert mode, really now through around noontime. That threat could linger a bit till around 2 or 3 o'clock. But as we look ahead, that's the potential there. What I want to let you know about right now is in Franklin County, even though the warning is not issued for you, you want to go ahead and start thinking about that safe spot. Where is that? It's the innermost room on the lowest level of your house, a basement, the first floor of your house if you have 2 stories. Under the stairwell, a really safe spot. Going into a bathroom is a really safe spot just because of the chance that we have a lot of pipes in the the walls there. That keeps the room a little more sturdy there. So we're watching that. So please go ahead and get to your safe spot in Franklin County because that cell is bearing down on you. Nonetheless, some very gusty winds, but there is a tornado warning 1 county south of Franklin here. Let's get in and show you what we're talking about. The highest risk continues to be right along the I-85 corridor in this area, east of Commerce, watching it in this line. That's the problem, folks, is this is a rain-wrapped cell that is pushing east. And honestly, it impacts both of our radars. We've got 2 radars we can tap into. Our live Super Doppler 4 HD out of Anderson County, and we also got Atlanta's radar in Peachtree City. We can see all sides of this, but because there's so much rain around it, it does impact our ability. It would be very hard to see it on the ground if it were, in fact, a tornado touching the ground. Watching this closely here, as it continues to push up toward the east. Sandy Cross, Carnesville, watching it there. Banks County, Madison County, and Jackson County. That tornado warning in effect there for those 3 counties there. Let me show you the storm wind speeds right in here. We've got some strong winds going in different directions here. That's the problem. as we're watching this move on through is this line is pushing east, but some aspects of that line are going the other way. It's rotating. And that's what we could possibly see out of the storm, especially deeper into the morning hours here. As this line pushes east, it's going to try to begin to rotate. What happens in these cells, and what we saw Sunday, is they'll strengthen, and then they'll slack up a bit, and then they'll strengthen again. It does look like that circulation is not as tight there in Franklin County, but nonetheless, that is some strong winds, and the winds up above us are just howling right now. The wind energy with this system is just tremendous. Let me show you the latest computer model that just came in that gives us this threat through the mid-morning hours here. I want to let you know that we're going to continue to watch this through the day as this line pushes eastbound. Pulling up my computer model here, we can see that this line, as it encounters part of our area, is going to be very unstable. We've got warm air in place, and on top of that, we've got that upper level energy that's pushing through the area that gives us that combined threat for the potential of damaging winds being the highest threat, as well as tornadoes. Let me walk you through what's going on right here. We've got that activity back toward the south and west. As we go through the mid-morning hours, that rain starts to overspread our area. Inside that rain could be those embedded tornadoes, also those damaging winds. Look what happens at 1 o'clock. As that line encounters the eastern part of the upstate, the most unstable area today, Greenville, Greenwood, eastbound. Let me go ahead and draw it for you here. As we go through the mid-morning hours, we'll have to watch this area because right in here is the most unstable area. Maybe even breaking out into a little bit of sunshine as we go through the mid-morning hours here. I-26 corridor eastbound especially. Let's go through a little bit farther here. You see how our threat really comes down around 1 o'clock. We'll still see some rain and some heavy rainfall, but that threat really begins to shift toward the I-77 corridor, and this storm is really going to pack a punch. And that's why I know many of you are traveling. That's, honestly what a lot of our questions are online on Facebook. If you're watching right now, when should we be traveling? If we can travel, I have family coming in town. I'm trying to go out of town. You really do not want to cross over this line. Embedded in this line, especially later today, this afternoon and evening, the I-77 corridor, the I-95 corridor will very likely have some rotating thunderstorms and the possibility of some long-track tornadoes. You do not want to be traveling through this. It's best just to wait until tomorrow if you can, or late tonight once this line has pushed on through the area to do any kind of travel from Charlotte to Columbia. You really do not want to be traveling in this. Let's get right back to live Super Doppler 4 HD across Franklin County. That's the area we're concerned about the most right now. Get right back to our active alerts. You can see we have a dangerous situation across parts of Hart, Stevens, and Franklin County. A severe thunderstorm warning right now. Winds gusty up to 60 miles per hour. But just behind that, we've been tracking some rotation moving out of the Atlanta area. And I'll have you note there, the green, those are flood warnings. And that's the concern as we move forward, too, is that this line is really moving quite slowly. And as it moves toward the east, it's providing a lot of rainfall. So a flash flood warning. Creeks are spilling their banks very quickly behind this cell. But we do have some rotation. In fact, there is this tornado warning for Banks, Jackson, and Madison counties in Georgia until 8:15 a.m. It's one county over from you folks in Franklin. In fact, let me turn on the rotation. We'll see exactly where that rotation lies right now. It's broad rotation at this point. I do expect this to continue off and on. We'll see the rotation strengthen. We'll see it slack up a bit. But putting a track on this as this line moves toward the east, I'll put a rotating track. There we go. You can see right in there, just south of Commerce, is where the reds and the greens were the most pronounced. As it moved into the northern part of the county there and approached parts of Franklin County, that circulation began to flatten back out. Let me turn on the radar here. You can see what it looks like on Doppler radar. Again, that rotation is surrounded by rain, and that's the dangerous part of it, is it's very hard to see that on the ground. You would not be able to see a possible tornado coming at you. It would be rain-wrapped on all sides. So here we go. Severe thunderstorm warning for Franklin County, Bowersville, Hart County, down towards Stevens County, southern tip of Stevens County. Next up would be parts of Oconee County, Anderson County, and eventually Clemson. So let's put a track on this line right here as it pushes toward the north and east. Livonia, it'll be in your neck of the woods at 8:20, Oakway at 8:27, Seneca 8:34, and Clemson. Of course, we are streaming live on Facebook, on our app. You can take your phone to your safe place. That's the beauty of technology these days. And Amanda Crawford is kind of taking a pulse of what's going on social media. Amanda, what are you seeing from some of the comments and our viewers to our south and west?
Yeah, we've got a lot of people watching, Chris, about 1,000 watching right now, and they're tuning in from all over. They're kind of describing what they're seeing right now. Spartanburg, Piedmont, Simpsonville, lots of cloudy, dark skies out there. In Seneca, Walhalla, Easley, they've got downpours and some wind. In Toccoa, pouring rain as well. Now, we want to give a lot of you some safety updates, whether this system is moving through your area right now or whether it's headed toward your area later. It's best to know the safest place in your house where you're going to go. You want to have a plan, especially in these kinds of systems where it can get severe very quickly. Like Chris said, you want to find your innermost room on the lowest level of the house. Bathrooms are a great place. I think we have some safety tips that we can bring up for you on the screen. You also want to make sure you can take your phone with you. Remember, if your power goes out or if you have to take cover somewhere, you can watch us online or on your phone. Chris is going to be keeping track of these systems so you can stay updated as you watch on our mobile app or on our website. Now, we've got a lot of people asking questions, Chris, especially here in the Greenville area. It's a day where a lot of people are off school, off work. They have travel plans. They want to know when it's going to be here in the Greenville area. That's a lot of the questions I'm seeing. Is that something you can answer now?
Yeah, Amanda, it is. The best chance of seeing the storms in Greenville westbound, let's basically just divide our area in half. Greenville westbound, including you folks in Oconee, Pickens, Anderson, parts of Abbeville County, your chance for severe weather is now through around 10 o'clock. East of Greenville, including Greer, Taylors, parts of Spartanburg, Greenwood, would be 10 o'clock to noon. That's the best chance of seeing that weather, but of course it could occur, give or take an hour within there. A big concern that I have here, Amanda, is that a lot of folks are out of school right now, so a lot of kiddos could be at home with, a teenager, babysitters, that type of thing. So parents, if you're watching this right now on Facebook or on our app at work, just check in with the kiddos. Have them keep the TV on in the background just in case we do have a warning. They can know when to get to the safe place. Of course, you can keep up to date with all that warnings that are issued second by second on our app, WYFF4 mobile app. If you don't have it and you're watching on Facebook or on air, go ahead and download that to your device right now. It's a great tool to keep ahead of these storms. I do want to let you know, just touch base with the National Weather Service out of Peachtree City in Atlanta, and they have dropped that tornado warning due to that circulation slacking up. But folks, I don't want you to let your guard down on this. It is fluctuating. We'll see that circulation slack up, and then it all of a sudden tightens right back up. So we're going to be on top of this cell as it continues to move into South Carolina here across Lake Hartwell, parts of Kiwi, heads up Clemson, Pickens, Walhalla. You're next in line for seeing the strong aspect of this storm. But the rotating part of it here across Franklin County has slacked up just a bit. It's within this line that we're going to start to see that intensify within the next hour or two. It's already doing so over Carnesville, parts of Livonia, Hartwell. Inside of this line is some pretty stout rotation. In fact, I'm going to scoot back up toward the north because something just caught my eye on the velocity radar. Live Super Doppler 4 HD, a priceless tool here out of off I-85, and heads up here in Martin. And that is some strong winds. Let's get in closer here. You can see what's going on. We've got that wind coming at you at 33 miles per hour, but that's going the opposite way of Live Super Doppler 4 HD. So we're going to have to watch that closely there. Some very strong winds just north of I-85 right in there. So we're going to have to watch that. That line really means business, and you can kind of see the aspects as they kind of pull out just a little bit. It's got a little squiggle to it, almost an S-shaped. Anytime you see that, that means that that part of that line is starting to exceed or start to outrace the other part of the line. And as that does, you get that rotation to start to develop, and that's what you get with these kind of lines. You get damaging winds. That's the biggest threat. But in these lines, you can get a quick touchdown of a tornado. And again, it doesn't matter if the tornado damage comes to you in a straight line or a circular pattern. Wind damage is wind damage, and we want to let you know that that's going to be the highest threat over the next couple of hours here. So putting a track on it here across parts of Franklin County. I'll give you another storm track here. Let's pause it, let you see what's going on. Strongest aspect of the storm somewhere right in there. It's pushing toward the northeast at about 45 miles per hour. So I'll put it in Walhalla at 820, Seneca at 832, Clemson at 840, and then 6 Mile at 842. Now, as we move forward into the afternoon hours, that line is pushing toward the east. At the same time, that upper level energy is strengthening, it's deepening. So we're going to have to watch this because the environment's only getting stronger for storms. So the eastern half of the upstate between 10 a.m. and noon really having the highest risk for severe weather. In fact, you see that enhanced right there. That's the 4th category out of 6 of risks here at home. We don't see that issue that often. Now, especially that red color, the moderate, that's risk number 5 out of 6. That's a very high risk for severe weather, including long-track tornadoes. It's very likely there's a tornado outbreak later today in the eastern Carolinas. We're going to have to watch that very closely. Traveling to and from that area, we're really not advised. You really just want to kind of hold tight and let this storm pass overhead throughout the next couple of hours into the afternoon and evening before you start trying to go anywhere farther out of town. So just to recap, I'll turn on Live Super Doppler 4 HD. We're watching this line to our west. It is expected to intensify west of Greenville, 8 a.m. right now, all the way through around 10 a.m. East of Greenville through around 10 to noon time. We're going to send you back to programming right here. We're going to keep a very close eye on this, both online, on air, and on Facebook. We'll keep you posted.
Oh, that's
Go to copyright.